Sorry.
It's all good. You all set?
Sorry. You ready?
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to the regular meeting of the Wappinger Town Board. May the clerk please call the roll.
Councilman Beal?
Here.
Bettina?
Here.
Councilman Phillips? Here. Councilman Kinsella?
Here.
Supervisor Cavazzini?
Here. In just a moment, I'll ask you to join me in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, followed by an invocation by Reverend John Young. That will be followed by a moment of silent meditation. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we give you thanks for this day and for all your provision. We thank you for another beautiful day here in the Hudson Valley, a respite from the heat today, and we pray that you would continue to shower your blessings upon us. We pray for this meeting, for wisdom for all who participate, that our discussions may be civil and productive and would accomplish the greatest good for your people here in this place. We commend this meeting to your care and provision, trusting in your mercy. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. May be seated. Thank you, Reverend. With that, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move it. Second.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilman Casella. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you very much. Motion passes. Do I have a motion to acknowledge the minutes of the June 10th, 2024 meeting?
Move. Second.
Moved by Councilman Beal, second by Councilman Phillips. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you very much. Motion passes. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will open the public portion of our agenda. For those wishing to speak on agenda items, you have 3 minutes. We ask that you state your name and address for the
I'll
record.
make that motion. I'll second it.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilman Casella. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you very much. Motion passes. Floor is now open to those wishing to speak on agenda items. Seeing none.
I'll make a motion that we close the public portion. Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilman Phillips. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you very much. Folks, we do have 2 items for discussion this evening. The first one is bringing up a conceptual discussion to move forward with the interviewing and hiring, potentially the creation of a new position in the Buildings and Grounds Department. Buildings and Grounds right now is undergoing a restructuring phase, like many of our departments here in town. And, we've been going through our fleet, which is aging or has a number of vehicles that are currently out of service. And that list continues to grow. We have a number of vehicles that are out at private businesses being worked on. We have vehicles that are on a waiting list to get worked on. And in addition to that, we also have small engine equipment, such as a number of weed whackers, mowers, things like that, that also need to be addressed. At the end of the day, folks, what has historically happened is the department head has been acting as the mechanic for the department, which, again, he has administrative duties that he needs to be addressing and working on. So in talking with the department and talking with Human Resources, and now for a discussion here, what we were hoping to do was see if we had any interest in moving forward in advertising for a mechanic for Buildings and Grounds when they are not servicing vehicles, which will probably be months from now. They would be an everyday member of the team out working in the parks as a skilled laborer. So I just wanted to see if we had any interest from the board to pursue advertising or gain any comments tonight.
I think it's a good idea. We do need a small engine mechanic. We also need a number of vans. Now, Councilman Beal and myself and others have talked about a capital plan as well, because we do need a couple of vans. We talked about a 3 to 5 year capital plan. This is one of those where there is a pretty significant need for the actual vehicles. Right now, one of the actual employees is driving their own vehicle, and I think that's something that we need to take care of. So I make a recommendation that we actually try to go out there through Indeed and try to find somebody, again, for a small engine mechanic. Again, Steve in the past has done a lot of that work, but I think this individual, after the first 3, 4, 6 months, whatever it is, will be able to go out and help out in other areas in buildings and grounds. But again, that's something we need. We've been trying to vendor some of it out to go to the highway garage to try to help us out a little bit. They have plenty on their plate.
Yes.
So again, this would be something, I think in the long run, it'll save us money as well. We could potentially vendor some of this work out, but I think internally, if he can do it, again, this individual will be able to help out down the road for other projects in the town that we need to make sure we get accomplished.
Well, with the amount of equipment and the aging amount of equipment, a mechanic is needed. And we've started the shared services with the garage.
Yes.
And I think we could get the flow going both ways. The highway department has a number of small equipment as well. And if we have a full-time small engine mechanic specifically for that, as well as the vehicles. I know we are short vehicles immediately, and I would suggest that we look into leasing either short-term or, if you talk to Councilman Beal, we're probably looking at a 12 to 18-month lag time between purchasing. So unless somebody's going to sit there and watch the contract from the state, that's an all-day job. So it's a great start. I agree with it.
Thank you, Councilor.
I agree with my colleagues. I think it's important that we're proactive, and then we address these concerns, and I think this is the way we should be going. And I agree that if we can't purchase at this time, that we may have to lease to meet these needs. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I look at this a little differently. We originally had one mechanic in the highway department. We brought a second mechanic in to handle all this stuff. So we now have 2 mechanics at highway. So my position is that we should be utilizing the second mechanic at highway to do the vehicles, which I believe that person does that already.
Correct.
And small engine repairs, in my opinion, should be subbed out. I'm not so sure, and I'm not sold on the fact that we should be hiring a mechanic for buildings and grounds. If that is the direction we want to go, that should be a budgetary item for the next fiscal year. I don't support hiring and advertising and hiring someone mid-year for a position specific to buildings and grounds, because that defeats the entire purpose of bringing the second mechanic on board into highway. That said, I don't want to be in a position where we're setting up a second mechanic shop in buildings and grounds. We have a mechanic shop already centrally located in highway, so I don't want to see us now having to lay out funding to establish a mechanic shop specific to buildings and grounds, which I am not convinced is going to save us money in the long run. That's just my position.
Thank you, Councilman Beal. And I would like to note that it was discussed and entertained in the 2024 budget, having a mechanic in this department. That was pulled in budgetary discussions. I was not here at that time, so I don't know what the mindset was, but it was a department need then. It made its way through the process and died before the budget was approved. I do feel that, again, this would be an asset to the Buildings and Grounds Department considering the amount of vehicles that they have out there. Again, we have a tremendous concern that we have employees using their personal vehicle. And again, just in regards to these small engine machines that we have in that department, for example, we had one of our tractors, Big Red, it's named, was out at Carnwath Farms overnight for 3 days because, A, there was not a authorized vendor available at the time to get it out there or service it. And again, we had no free personnel from either highway or buildings and grounds to address that. So in order to be better prepared when these incidents happen, it's bound to happen with the equipment, that's why we're recommending this tonight. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, Councilman, I respect your position on it.
One of the things I think we need to see, and we talk about it all the time, is an asset list for buildings and grounds. So if you said you have 5 weed whackers, then absolutely, it's not worth hiring a mechanic. But if you go out there and take a look, we have more equipment out there than most rental companies. So I think if we see the scope of what's owned and the years on them, to get a better idea, to do a cost analysis, that's a good start. I have no problem with that, but, maybe if we could start there.
So you're in favor of holding off on
No,
hiring or still?
Me personally, I think you should start looking, but
And doing that in conjunction?
Yes, correct.
So in working with our comptroller, we are working on coming up with a capital asset management list. We have no list of our capital assets in this town. So we are trying to develop that right now as well. So that would be a perfect point. And again, piggybacking off of that, we've had tractors and buildings and grounds that have gone down for weeks on end. One was parked here in this parking lot for well over a month before the department head was able to get around to take care of that, as well as the highway department. So again, obviously there is a need. They seem to be backed up in a sense. We just want to see moving forward. So
I think in conjunction, though, too, we need to look at, when we talk about the capital plan, we need to talk about highway, because highway is also going to need some vehicles as well. So as we're looking at this stuff, again, a capital project we should be putting together, we should try to anticipate, because I think we have two vehicles we're going to require next year. We'll go through the budget and make sure we have them, but we should be looking at those kind of things now so that, again, it's not reactionary all the time. You're being more proactive to try to go out there and say, this is what I need, this is when I'm going to need it. And as Councilman Phillips said, with a small engine mechanic, again, we got to take a look at what does our asset list look like, because again, there's probably things we don't even know about that are out there that we could repair. I think you found a vehicle the other day that was kind of coming apart, and they could put it back together, and we might be able to put it in use again. So I think that's something that, a small mechanic can probably, small engineering mechanic can probably do. So again, if we're going to look at this thing, I don't have a problem looking at this, capital project in the fall plant, but I still do think we need somebody, in a near term for the small engine mechanic. And I support that.
thank you. With that, do I have a motion to move forward with interviewing and seeking applicants for this position?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilwoman Bettina. Discussion.
Just on the question, I would make sure we're going to be consistent with civil service on this. If it's a specialized mechanic position, it may not be a laborer position. It may be a competitive position. So I don't want to, also see the town be in a situation where we're hiring somebody provisionally based on advertising that we end up having to go to a list that person may not be on. So my recommendation would be to ensure that whatever the expectations of this employee are, that we have it titled properly and know what the requirements are going in.
This will be done through the Office of the Town Controller Personnel Division in securing that appropriate civil service job description. Thank you.
So if you're going to advertise, you got to be careful advertising through Indeed and putting it out there if this ends up being a competitive civil service title.
Absolutely. If it is obviously a civil service competitive title, there would be no posting. If it is, in fact, a labor class position, like I believe the ones up at Highway are, then we will post as necessary.
I still think under the collective bargaining agreements, it has to be posted, though. There's
They need to be posted internally.
stipulations.
Yes,
yeah.
per the CBA, it needs to be posted internally. We follow that just as we've done with our two recreation open positions. We would do the same with this as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. We have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you very much. Motion passes. With that, on to our next discussion item. The town board is in receipt of an application for a change of zone from Mr. Brian Falk. He is looking to do business in the town in an area that is not conducive to do so currently. So we're going to ask Mr. Falk to come on up to the podium here, state what you're interested in, and tell the town board what you're about. Welcome. You're also a town resident, correct?
I am, right in Chelsea Ridge. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I'm looking to open up a tattoo studio and fine art studio over in Chelsea Ridge Mall. And currently it is zoned for NB. I need it zoned for HB in order to do tattoos over there. The tattooing is only part of the whole. It's more of a workspace. I'm a tattooer. I'm opening it. That's going to be my main thing. But I'm not necessarily looking for all tattooers. Any artist who's willing to pay for the space rental, will be welcomed in. But I think it'll be a dynamic addition to the town. I think it'll be, we work a lot of aesthetics. I want to have nice signage out there. It'll be seen. I think it'll be good for the community to see, the people that I work with were the tip of the spear of our industry. I have a big social media following. My books are, a year out. People fly from all over the country to get tattooed. Those people are going to be coming in. They're going to be staying at hotels, Airbnbs, buying gas at the local gas stations. I just see it being kind of a win-win for everyone. Yeah, that's my goal.
So, obviously, I welcome comments from my colleagues on the town board. I did speak to our Director of Strategic Planning. I don't know if we would be interested in changing the zone that's out there, because that's considered spot zoning, and I don't think that the town board is interested in doing that moving forward. But we were looking at potentially either whether that's a text amendment or something like that, to allow this use in the neighborhood business. Obviously, that would be a discussion that would have to be had up here on this dais. Just by way of background, other existing uses in neighborhood business includes a adult entertainment location known as Smiles in the town. There's smoke shops, there are liquor stores. Those are currently existing in the neighborhood business district. Tattoo shops are not allowed, so I think obviously I'd yield to some comments from the town board on that. And I believe the space that you're looking to move into has been vacant for 4 years now.
4 years, yeah.
In Chelsea Ridge?
Yep.
So I will.
And I have their blessing also. I have
That was in the application,
Yeah.
I know, yeah, I saw that.
What's the zoning there now?
Neighborhood business.
And what other places are neighborhood business?
So neighborhood business is just a perfect example is the plaza I just referred to, New Hackensack Plaza,
Right.
out on Route 376. That's also neighborhood business there. They tend to be tucked along state roads, and something that's not Route 9. So highway business, that's the majority of Route 9. We would not want that somewhere on 9D. But neighborhood business, is obviously smaller. It's more conducive to small, light commercial, retail, things like that. And I believe in your application, you had also noted an art studio as well.
Yeah, so actually most of the square footage is going to be used for an art studio. I'm also buying a commercial printer because, we do fine art, we sell it. Right now I have to go through people to distribute it for me. And if I have the space for it, I can get a commercial printer, do all the distribution myself. And then another thing about the 2 Chelsea Ridge Mall area that I really like is they have an event space next door to it. And I want to be able to put on flash events. I have a little pamphlet here to hand out whenever, you guys are willing to take it. But,
You can come on up.
But we, at Hudson Valley Tattoo Company, we have every year we do something called Harvesting Hope.
Thank you.
And essentially we do a flash event.
Thank you. If you'd like to provide the town clerk as well. I just can't pay attention. Thanks.
Thank you.
And every year we raise anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 for Poughkeepsie School District. Simply doing tattoos and giving all the proceeds to the school district for their art program. And I'd love to be able to do stuff like that and have an event space accessible to me, that I could rent out for a reasonable price. It's a big asset as far as I'm concerned. So that's another big, selling point for that space for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments?
So I don't necessarily have an objection to your type of business. I'm just trying to understand within the code what the intent of the neighborhood business versus highway business versus highway design. I remember having in-depth conversations in 2010 about the reasoning behind each one of these, and I think we're going to need some time to evaluate what the best approach is here. I don't have an objection to providing for a text amendment within a given zone, but we have to evaluate how that may or may not impact the other existing neighborhood business locations within the town. I mean, the one that's closest to that is where Chelsea Garage Door is. I don't even know how that's,
Oh, really?
yeah, that opposite Old State Road there, for whatever reason. and that might just be a legacy zone.
I think so, yeah, that's been there forever.
But, yeah, here we go. So I know that we did make an effort in 2010 to consolidate some of these zones, especially on the commercial side. You'll see on Route 9, the highway business and highway design, we consolidated a number of the highway designs and the highway business. But there are, reasons. Like, for example, highway design is designed to discourage automotive uses, standalone franchise fast food establishments, and certain other uses, right? So that's the purpose of that particular zone, right? With respect to neighborhood business and highway business, there would be certain rationales, which I'm not seeing right away here, on why they are classified in those categories. But I'd like just some time to take a look at this and evaluate what the best approach is with this.
Absolutely.
I agree. I think this is brand new, and I think we need to digest it a little bit. So,
And that's what
thank
this
you
is
for
meant to be.
this, yeah.
Yeah. And then, Mr.
Excuse me.
Labori, how would you, obviously, the town board wants to have some more discussions, do their own research. What would be the next steps, by way of background?
So there's a section of the code, 240-112, deals with the amendment process for the town. And when you reach a point where you feel like you have a really firm idea of exactly what it is you want to do. So, and that's obviously a little bit more in-depth than the potential addition of a tattoo parlor to, let's say, in NB right now, you have a use craft and artisan studios and shops, right? So just listening to you talk, it seems like without looking at the definitions, there could be some of those uses that are already accommodated. So maybe what this looks like is, craft and artisan studios and shops, and that definition is just amended to include tattoo parlors, right? So we have to look at tattoo parlors. But when the board feels like they're comfortable with whatever it is that would be designed for the zoning code, you would then refer it to the planning board. That referral process would result in a report back from the planning board, potentially a referral to the county if that's applicable, depending on where it is. If it's on a county road, the Dutchess County Planning may have some input on that. When that's done, we do seeker on the potential zone change. We have to look at the comp plan, just make sure that the comp plan, and again, Bill, I was looking at those district definitions to see if NB, I think we'll find that in the comp plan versus here right now.
Yeah.
We have to look at that and make sure there's consistency. Again, the planning board is going to do that in their report on any zone change application. But it would behoove us to take a look at that as well. Once that comes back, if we get through the seeker process, we do an EAF and a neg deck if it's determined to not have an impact, and then you'd be able to make the zoning amendment.
All right, very good.
Yeah, and just on the spot zoning thing, spot zoning is zoning not in accordance with your comprehensive plan. That's the key component.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a misnomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it can be one spot.
It can be one spot,
We do
yes.
want to avoid that one.
The one spot.
Right.
So that's the process.
Very good. Thank you. So, Mr. Falk, we're going to have a conversation amongst the town board. Obviously, members are going to do their own research and come back at the next town board meeting with their research and have additional conversations. And we'll continue to keep you in the loop on this. All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, we're going to move on to the consent resolutions.
Yeah, just before we get into consent, if possible, we do have a resolution coming up to appoint a recreation assistant in the, I believe that's 148, right?
Correct, yes.
I would like an opportunity to take no longer than 10 minutes for the town board to speak with the candidate prior to the resolution coming up. So if it would be appropriate, I'll make a motion for the town board to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing a potential appointment to a position.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Moved by Councilman Beal, second by Councilman Phillips. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks. We'll be back in 10 minutes. motion to return from executive session?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilwoman Bettina. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you very much. Motion passes. With that, we are going to return to the consent resolutions, folks. Resolution 2024-139, resolution authorizing the execution of the agreement for operation of carnival rides, concessions, and amusements for the Town of Wappinger Fall Festival, Town of Wappinger Community Day. Resolution 2024-144, resolution authorizing settlement of tax cert proceeding in the matter of the application of Marshall 31 LLC. Resolution 2024-145, resolution establishing standard workday for elected and appointed officials. Resolution 2024-146, resolution awarding contract for annual maintenance at Rockingham Park Pond. And Resolution 2024-147, correspondence log. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilwoman Bettina. Discussion?
Yes, we need to make a change on Resolution 145 for the number of hours.
That was already reflected. It's not reflected in your printed packet, but out there digitally. Yes.
Very good.
Yes. Yeah, the town clerk had updated, so for the public, everyone got that as of Thursday.
Okay. Just a couple of quick comments, if I may.
Of course.
So the first one I want to talk about is the annual maintenance for the pond. Again, that's Rockingham, as we talked about. We've had a 2-year contract with them. This is just a continuation of that. One of the other things the board is exploring with Mr. Supervisor and also Councilman Phillips, the old Apple Orchard Pond.
Yes.
So there's been some concerns about that as well. We are looking at, I was out there the other day with the supervisor, and we saw that one of the aerators is working. We're trying to get the second working, but we also want to try to do a pond maintenance as well. We're going to look at the same company here. It's called Solitude. And all we want to do is we've actually asked them to go out there, take a look at the pond, and what will happen is they have to do a 90-day permitting cycle. Once that 90-day permitting cycle is done as required by New York State, they'll be able to go out there and treat that. So again, that'll be something that'll come through the board. That's not a contract for tonight, but I just wanted to let people know that we are working on trying to get that pond cleaned up. It's going to take some time. My guess is sometime late fall is when they'll be able to get to that. But again, it's something that the residents have brought up, and we want to make sure that, again, we take care of that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilman.
Sure.
All right, we have a motion. We had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you very much. On to the non-consent resolutions. Resolution 2024-148, resolution appointing recreation assistant in the Parks and Recreation Department, Senior Center Division. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we put in the name Kellyanne Deathridge as the new recreation assistant.
Moved by Councilman Casella. Second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Phillips. Any further discussion? Director Fulton, would you like to comment?
I will make it quick. When we met Kellyanne, she is working in a program that is very similar to ours, so she knows the absolute bones of everything that we do, and you can't improve something and make it bigger and better without knowing the bones of something. So she's going to be a really great asset to the department.
Thank you. And the town board has had the opportunity to meet over the past couple days with Kellyanne through rounds of interviews, and again, our executive session we just had. So we're excited to see where you're going to bring the center and the vision of our seniors. And again, we're excited. So welcome aboard, Kellyanne.
Welcome
So
aboard.
with that, we had a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you very much. Welcome aboard. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay. Resolution 2024-149, a resolution introducing local law number 2 of 2024, which would amend Chapter 217, zoning of the town code with respect to a variety of matters. So the motion for discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councilman Phillips.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Bettina. I would like to make an amendment to the title, which would amend the title from a variety of matters to a variety of definitions, as that is what this would be doing. This code change that we are discussing and entertaining would bring a number of these definitions up to spec and get it further in compliance with the vision of the town and the comprehensive plan, tightening up a number of loose ends, if you would. So is there any further discussion on this?
Just, we enacted a moratorium to do exactly this, to start looking at our codes and to make the changes necessary to help the town move forward in the direction that the vision of the town board is. So it's good to see that we're on top of it and moving forward.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you. And again, this is introductory. Yes, Mr. Liguori.
Yeah, I just have a question. Obviously, this seems like it was drafted sometime not this year. This may have been a carryover, or is this something that's brand new?
No, this is brand new.
Okay.
This is brand new, yes.
All right, so I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know if this was referred to the planning board under the
No,
amendment
this is
process.
brand new. This was an
Okay.
internal, we
Gotcha.
just wanted to start the process.
Yeah, understood. Okay.
Yes, we'll talk.
Yeah, great.
We'll talk.
I thought it was going to be the full boat of what had been previously circulated, so I was a little concerned. 'cause
No.
missing something.
No.
Okay, great.
And again,
Thank you.
one thing that we are trying to do, which is different than what has been... Yes. One thing that we're trying to do under this administration, this town board, is different than what had previously happened. Previously, we saw town code changes under a variety of matters that were, the size of a book, and very hard for anyone to really comprehend and understand, and things were, quite frankly, included that not everyone might have known or been fully supportive of. What we're now trying to do is piecemeal it, take it piece by piece, be fully transparent, offer the opportunity for public comments and public hearings that are on a legitimate topic rather than a boatload of issues, giving people a better opportunity to digest the legislation. So that's what this is here. Simple, I believe it's 2.5 pages of actual legislation, so for the public to fully digest. Again, this is introducing this local law, folks. So this will schedule a public hearing in July, and we'll move forward from there. Okay. With the amendment, is there any further discussion? Or? All right. All right. So we have a motion second on the amended title. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. With that, that concludes our non-consent portion of the agenda. For items for special consideration and new business, Councilman Beal.
So I'd like to see if our IT consultant can be at a future town board meeting just to provide the town board with some information on where we stand from a cybersecurity standpoint. I know that Craig does a great job, but in the wake of what occurred in the city of Newburgh, where they were basically paralyzed for about 5 days with respect to some town services, I just think it would be a good idea for us to have that conversation at a future town board meeting where he can identify anything that we need to be doing, if we're not doing it already, to ensure that our cyber security is fortified at its greatest, because we're seeing unprecedented cyber attacks across the country, and local municipalities certainly are not, exempt from those things. So,
Absolutely.
I think it would be good to have that.
We'll put that on for the July meeting.
Okay, that would be great. That said, I do believe Craig has ensured that we are in a secure state, but I'd still like to have that conversation on the record, because I think the public would find it interesting as well. Also, just want to mention, again, we were faced with a serious accident on Route 9 at Myers Corners Road on Thursday morning, this time 6:23 in the morning. We had a vehicle strike a motorcycle at that intersection, in which the motorcycle was completely underneath the vehicle. The operator of the motorcycle was pinned under the vehicle, and our volunteer firefighters from Houstonville and New Hackensack responded, and within 7 minutes of arrival had that subject removed from underneath the vehicle, and then subsequently landing another medevac, this time on Route 9 in front of Dunkin' Donuts, to transport that critically injured subject to Westchester Medical Center. So just another testament to the training and the availability and just how lucky we are in this town to have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, highly trained volunteer firefighters and career EMS personnel. In this particular situation, we had 3 paramedics on the scene from Empress because 2 of them were on the way home from work, and the assigned paramedic unit ambulance was on scene within 1 minute. So this was another example of our town's first responders coming together and making a difference. Unfortunately, that accident gridlocked the town for a couple hours because it happened at one of the busiest intersections in the town. But just want to make sure that we mention that situation, and our thoughts are with the victim for a speedy and full recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Bettina?
I just want to say the summer has started. Please be careful, enjoy it, but be careful. We want everybody back here in the fall. We want everybody to have a great summer, but please be careful. Driving, going, boating, going to our parks, they're there for everybody, but please be careful. Watch your children in the pool. It's nice that there are a lot of people at the pool. Everybody's watching, but really nobody's watching. I heard an awful story where this child was saved by his father, and there was 5 people watching the kids in the pool, and really nobody was. So yes, we're blessed that we do have EMS and we have our volunteer firemen, but it takes all of us to watch out for each other. And that's all I'm saying, just be careful. But enjoy yourselves too, because it's going to go by fast. It really is. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Phillips?
There's so much going on in this town. It's thank you for your weekly blasts and your daily blasts. To what Councilman Casella said earlier, the pond at Old Apple Orchard, it's going to be remediated shortly. I was at the highway garage during the week, and I didn't realize Graham had put that fountain in.
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing how long things last when they're done correctly. So hopefully we'll get that done. And I know that the equipment is in for Spook Hill, or it's on its way in for Spook Hill.
Yes.
So hopefully by the end of the summer, we can be really enjoying that. That's fantastic. I have to thank Councilman Beal and the first responders for this town. I witnessed one of these terrible accidents a month ago or so, and to say that our town is as professional as it out there is an understatement. Thank a responder, please, thank them. The service that our ambulance corps gives and our fire department, they're volunteers. They're residents helping residents, and it's unbelievable. When Councilman Beal said within 7 minutes, the gentleman was out from underneath the vehicle, that's incredible, incredible. So thank you and the rest of our first responders, Bill.
So in September, again, we will have our town's First Responder Awards, which is the Sunday after September 11th. Traditionally, we have to look at the calendar and see how it lands this year, but each year we do formally recognize those that respond to these critical incidents. Supervisor Cavazzini was at New Hackensack Firehouse the other night and saw the Dutchess County Volunteer Firefighters Association recognizing individuals not only for scholarships that they received who are volunteer firefighters, but also 2 incidents were highlighted. One of them was an incident that occurred in this town. The other one was in the town of Hyde Park. But these things happen almost on a daily basis, and the fabric that holds together many of these municipalities, including our own, are the volunteers that often go unnoticed. Many folks don't even realize that they're volunteers.
Yeah, very true. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Casella.
Sure, so I'm just going to piggyback on what a couple of the councilmen said about our emergency services. Bill showed us a picture the other day of the motorcycle on a side underneath the Jeep, and just amazing that person was able to walk away alive with very few injuries, and again, I wish them well. From a Fourth Ward perspective, we had a great ceremony yesterday afternoon, a little hot at Inspiration Field. They actually passed out medals to some of the young handicapped children there, and it's just a beautiful event. There was probably 45, 50 people there, youngsters there, so excited to get medals, refreshments and things served after, but it was just so, I don't know how to describe it. It was just so amazing that, you see these young children going out there and playing ball and parents being out there to support their children. It's just very, very emotional, again, seeing that kind of a thing out there, and not only parents, but the players, the coaches, you can't say enough about them because they go out there and they dedicate their time. And it's just a phenomenal ceremony yesterday. So what had actually happened was we actually completed Challenger Field. We finished the outfield, something we had talked about, starting last year, and we were able to complete that about a week and a half ago. And they were able to use the facilities out there. So again, thank the town board for their support, getting the money to us. And we actually used ARPA funds to do it. But it was an amazing thing to see yesterday from the children. Again, a beautiful display. From a Martins Field perspective, we finally got the electrical lights approved, so we can flip them on. What we're going to do as a town board, we'll figure out when is the best time to go ahead and utilize those lights. Again, it stays late till almost 9 o'clock, so probably we're looking at the fall. However, we do need to replace all the lights out there. The lights currently work today, but what we like to do is change them all to LED lights. We do have one estimate already. I'm going to try to get a couple others. We'd also like to see if we can, replace those internally. Right now, we have some supplies sitting in buildings and grounds. If they're able to use that, buildings and grounds may be able to do that instead of us going out and try to get, somebody, a vendor to do it, because it's pretty expensive, about $14,000 to do it. So again, those are two things that we just recently worked on. We're going to continue doing things in recreation, but I want to commend my fellow colleagues here for all their support and help in getting not only Inspiration Field, Martins Field, but also as well as the emergency service. Just a phenomenal job, and you can't say enough about the volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. To echo the words of my colleagues here on the board, we have a lot going on in this town right now, which is truly an exciting time. Again, obviously, we're kicking off summer, and with that, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2024 from Royce C. Ketchum High School and John Jay in Orchard View. This is truly an exciting time, not only in the town, but for them in their lives. So I'd like to extend a congrats to them.
And Beacon.
And the Beacon City School District, and we also have the Arlington High
right.
School. So extend those well wishes to them. I would like to note that we also have a end of school kickoff of summer party tomorrow at Martins Field for all of our children here in the town. It's the first time that we're doing something like this. Again, celebrate the end of school, get everyone out, just a fun time. So if you're around tomorrow, 5:30 to 8, Martins Field, we're going to be having our summer kickoff party. We'll have a food truck, we'll have some dessert. I believe that we're going to have a dunk tank as well. Our volunteers from the New Hackensack Fire Company are going to be there as well, participating. It should be a very, very fun time for kids and families of all ages. So I hope that you can join us at the park for that. Speaking of young people, I had the honor to return to my elementary alma mater last week, Myers Corners Elementary, and deliver some well wishes to their 6th grade graduating class. And it was great to see so many kids. Myers Corners Elementary School, now the largest elementary school with about 1,000 kids in the school district. So just to put that in perspective, folks, it is a big school and continuing to grow. Along the lines of public safety that has been noted here tonight, I've asked Lieutenant Stewart to continue to kick up our targeted patrols throughout the town. We have a number of areas that were provided by our town board members, as well as myself, and residents throughout the town to do these targeted patrols. This new model that was developed under our administration seems to be working. From every road from Kent Road, which was racking up, 50, people were pulled over on Kent Road at a undisclosed intersection. Even within Rockingham Farms, Dean Avenue, Smith Crossing, Chelsea Road had a few. We've been trying to target as many areas as possible to continue to slow down speeders and keep people safe, especially during this time. Along the lines, again, of public safety, a few weeks ago, there was a boom that went all around town. It was a scheduled gas release, natural gas release from Central Hudson over on Pie Lane, which could be felt all across the town of Wappinger. My office has been in constant communication with Central Hudson to express our displeasure with them, the fact that this was a pre-planned gas release day before, and there was no communication with the town of Wappinger. There was no communication with our first responders. Dutchess County 911 was actually overloaded with calls. I made it very clear to Central Hudson that, again, this community is on edge. We cannot forget that last November we had an incident that blew up an entire block in this town. And I've made that very clear to Central Hudson that if they're doing any sort of work along these lines, that they need to continue to be as transparent with the town of Wappinger as possible. We have the means to notify 5,000 residents immediately through Wappinger Delivery. I expressed that to them, and we're going to continue to keep these public utilities on their toes. We notify folks of scheduled maintenance. They need to do the same. So that was under public safety. Today I sent out a letter to the Dutchess County Legislature in regards to the addition and recommendations of properties in the agricultural district. They started the process to recommend 2 properties into the ag district, which I support, in the 2nd Ward down in Chelsea. They did not recommend 2 properties in the 1st Ward, which I have stated my comments on to support adding them into the ag district. This town board has taken historic steps to preserve open space and promote agriculture wherever possible. So I wrote the county legislature today. I'd like to note that my successor in the legislature, Legislator Faust, is here in the audience this evening to let them know our comments, that we support agriculture, we support adding these properties into the ag district when they genuinely offer agricultural amenities. So I've been in contact with them as well. Midpoint Park, we've had plenty of discussions, even special meetings on moving forward applications for grant funding. I'm proud to report that this town has submitted the grant funding necessary, the grant application necessary to the state of New York. Again, we've talked about this at length on this dais. That is going to be a hefty bill, so whatever we can do to continue to lower that bill and be as innovative as possible, we are doing. So I'm proud to report that that grant application has now been submitted to the state, and we are waiting to hear back results. And to close us out, this week, in fact Thursday, June 27th, after years of advocating when I was a county legislator, All Angels Hill Road will be repaved. Electronic message boards went out today, I believe.
Yes, they're out there.
And the county will start repaving a long stretch of All Angels Hill Road in between Myers Corners Road and Brown Road, that section there. There is significant potholes and patching and repairing, so I'm happy to hear that our pleads and requests for many years, especially me as a public official, are now being answered by the county, and we're able to get that done in record timing now under this administration. In the 2nd Ward, they just, the state just repaired significant drainage issues along Route 9D. It was one of the first...
Gee, how long did that take?
A few years, but it was one of the first requests that we made known under our administration and took to the press about it, and I'd like to thank the state of New York for addressing that and now offering a safe corridor for our motorists to move through. So, folks, we are not only addressing concerns here within the town with our own control, we continue to advocate to the county and to the state to address all of the infrastructure needs within the town of Wappinger. So, thank you again to my colleagues for all of your support on that. That is all I have. If there's no further discussion.
I just want to make one more comment, if you don't mind.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you brought up a great point tonight about piling, the gas explosion, et cetera.
Release.
Good thing it wasn't an explosion, but release. I was actually out there when the firefighters were out there, and I met a number of residents out there and had a lot of discussion. Again, it sounded like a jet flew right over the top of their house.
Yes.
There's a lot of gas smell, and a lot of people were very excited, worried about odors and everything else. So I do commend the fire department for being out there. New Hackensack Fire was out there. A number of police officers were out there. And again, I want to thank everybody that was out there. The quick response, Central Hudson went out there. They were going door to door. What they should have done in the beginning was, as you said, they should have notified a lot more people. They didn't do that. They only did a few houses on Pie Lane, and that caused a lot of confusion. So hopefully this is not going to happen again, but I do appreciate you reaching out to Central Hudson for us to let them know, hey, listen, next time something like this happens, you have to give greater notice, put it on Wappinger's delivery, because it did scare a number of people there, and they were afraid to go back into their houses. So again, thank you for reporting that, and if something like this does happen again, hopefully it doesn't, but should it, hopefully there's better communication to the residents, let them know this is what it is, this is what happened, because again, they didn't communicate to enough houses, and it did scare a lot of people. And when I got there, you could actually still smell a little bit of the gas. So I do know that, again, people were scared. So thank you for reaching out to them and letting me know. Please, next time, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you for being out there too, Councilman. All right. See no further discussion? Oh,
I make a motion to adjourn.
thank you very much. Moved by Councilwoman Bettina, second by Councilman Phillips. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, folks. There's no executive session, so you can all go home.